Good evening, everybody. Uh, Here I am again. I'm supposed to be on my Christmas break, but here I am again. Um, I've already had the last Lincoln Main live on Sunday. That's the show. Um, and I've been live yesterday unexpectedly. And today, again, I have to speak up because I was flooded with calls from BahamasAir staff and persons there. And a lot of people had a lot of questions. And so I wanted to address that. I've even was flooded with calls from people stuck in the United States. So just give me a second. Let me share this because people aren't going to get the notifications. So let me just share this so everyone knows it'll be live. But what they're doing to their staff is ridiculous. You're not going to believe what they're doing to their own staff at BahamasAir. So when you get on here, start the like, you know what I mean. Add highlights, add followers, and click on those like. Let those stuff go up, so the algorithm will know that this is an important live, so they can share it. All right. And so, come on, let's go. Let's get to work. Let's share this quick. Um, I'm supposed to be on vacation, so I'm not gonna be here long with y'all tonight. But I have to speak out for the staff to BahamasAir. I have to. And that includes the stewardesses, the ground workers, the pilots, the counter staff, everyone. So, and I have to speak up for all of the Bahamians who are stranded and make sure they know their rights and what they're entitled to right now. So, bear with me. Just going to take a second to share this. You doing your part? Let me put your messages up there so you can see yourselves. Make sure you can see yourself. So put your ad followers, your ad highlight, and everything else. All right. So this is a pop-up live, so no one knows going live. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. I got a chance to speak to a lot of staff, even to the union. Spoke to some lawyers to get, independent legal advice, even to a former judge to see what's going on. But what they are doing to their staff, it needs to stop in this country. It needs to stop. And I'm going to tell you exactly what that is. All right. All right. So you're not going to believe what they're doing to their staff. You're not going to believe it. All right. So I didn't watch the news tonight. So I don't know what they said on the news, but I'm going to let you know what I have to say. All right. All right. So people are getting on there. So y'all continue to share, do your highlights and all that kind of stuff. Let's get this out there. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm still in Grand Bahama. Why? Because I had intentions to just go and make a trip today, but of course I couldn't make that trip because there was no flights on that airline I wanted to travel on. And for good reason. Ladies and gentlemen, the staff at BahamasAir has been trying to get what is due to them for years. One senior staff member who's been there for probably almost 30 years, or about 30 years, told me that they've been trying to get what is theirs for 10 years. There's others who say it's many years that they've been trying to get what is due to them. But can you imagine 10 years trying to get your increments, etc.? And what is due to you? They are owed increments over time, and it's supposed to contribute to their pension, etc. And they've not been getting that, and it's really sickening. And there has been some negotiations. Of course, the government was strong arming them, and the latest offer they gave to them was that they would give them 2 increments. The increments supposed to come every year. They're owed for many years. And that they would give them 2 increments attached to the salary, and that's it. And they would get that sometime in April next year, sometime in April. I saw some document going around saying that they would give them their overtime sometime in, but the union didn't know anything about this. A letter that went out, so apparently it didn't go to the union. They would give them overtime on sometime around January 20th or something like that, which of course is just another promise to a fool. All right. And so these people have been waiting around, waiting around. They've worked for government, not for a private person, for government, who should lead by example. And they've been trying to get what is due to them. They owe their overtime. They owe their increments. They're supposed to get increments every year. They owe that. They've not been getting it, and they've been putting in the work. And so, nothing. And so they decided enough is enough. Enough is enough. Now, first of all, I was trying to talk slow to give more people a chance to get on here. Okay, I see people here on YouTube, on Facebook. Okay, people are here from everywhere. Okay, all right. All right, so we're on YouTube, Facebook, we're on everything right now. Let me see if y'all can guess the average amount that they're owed for the increments. All right, not the overtime and everything, just the increments. Yeah, this is the money they're talking about. Let me see, everyone guess. Guess how much money the BahamasAir staff is owed for increments. Let's see. We're going to participate in this now. Let's participate. All right. How much money are they owed in increments? I know there's a delay. Okay. 5 million. Oh, yeah. That's good guess. 5 million. All right. Anyone will get warmer? I think that's 5. Yeah. 5 million. All right. So how much someone else guessed? Someone said 5 million. Someone said millions. Someone said 3 million. 3 million. Someone said 1,000. No, we mean for all of them combined together. 500 each month. All right. No, I want you to guess how much they're owed combined. All right. Someone says 700,000. No. Let's keep guessing. And it's just an estimate. All right. And they're still doing calculations, but let me get a guess. So we're going from 5 million to 3 million to someone says $100 million. Oh, wow. That's a big number. Someone says 1,000. But I'll tell you, the BahamasAir staff has been fighting to get their increments that is due to them. And they thought that they would get it, for the Christmas season. Everyone needs to have a good Christmas. Even the business people need the staff to get their increments and their pay so that they can spend their money, and so the money can circulate in the economy. Because business people are already complaining that it's been much slower so far. But you know how much increment they are owed? It's estimated that we're talking about $400,000. That's an estimate. $400,000. Now, BahamasAir is saying because of that one-day strike, they lost $700,000 for that one-day strike. Now, some say are going to lose $700,000 for that one day. Huh? Think about that. They owe them $700 and they haggling with them, trying to cut them and not give them what is due. Brave Davis or Chester Cooper, who is responsible, could pay that themselves from all the money they've gotten by being in politics all these years, being able to be in a position to rob the Bahamian people technically. $400,000 is what they haggling these people over. All right? 400,000, that's the estimate. All right? Could be a little bit more, a little bit less, but they're still calculating. $400,000. Jesus. They shut down the whole operation, allowed that to be shut down because they don't want to pay the staff $400,000. Brave could have lent that himself to BahamasAir. So could Chester. They can say, okay, yeah, I'll pay it and then you'll pay me back later, whenever. For $400,000, you don't want to pay the Bahamian people. And we are tired of Bahamians being treated like this. They never have money when it's time for anything to benefit the Bahamian people. Never have money. Someone say Fred in Japan now. Fred probably spend more than that in Japan. Michael Pintard and Brave Davis spent $1.5 million just to go to England. They had a trip to Orlando that I believe cost about $500,000. Not a trip to what do you call the place? Bermuda Gate. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. So how can you let these staff see you traveling all the time? This staff at the airport, this the baggage people and other people. They see you coming through there every day, all day. They see you. They see you balling and living your best life. They see you, your family, friends, and lovers. And then they owed about, for the increment part of it, about, a few $100,000, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And you can't give them that for Christmas? Seriously, Brave? Seriously, Chester? That's the new day? Jesus Christ. Ah. And so what they did was they took these. I'm just so tired seeing Bahamians treated like this in our country, man. That's about 4 cabinet ministers' salary. Of all the cabinet ministers, just 4 of them salary. They're going to take 4 of their salary and pay them off. Someone said they spent $2.5 million, no problem with that, to fix a confiscated drug plane. Someone says, I'm 49 years in the company. Wow. Jesus, 49. You gave them your whole life. Do they owe you, man? Are you one of those who are owed? I know all the staff is owed, but do you know that they spent $2.5 million to renovate a plane? And they can't give you all a few $100,000? Do you know that? Because this Bahamians can't know what's going on. Anytime it's time for Bahamians to benefit from anything in this country, they ain't got the money. But when it's time for them to spend and ball and love themselves and go around with their friends, family, lovers, sweetheart, and whoever on these planes, they got money. And so what BahamasAir did, instead of just saying, you know what, that's $400,000. Let's bite the bullet. This Christmas, we're going to have a busy season. All right? Someone says, don't call the Lord's name in vain. No, I don't ever call the Lord's name in vain. That's not something that I do. If you look at the actual script of what it says, the actual scripture in the text and the Hebrew, what it meant was that you shouldn't take on the Lord's name in vain. I was talking to the Jewish people. They now carry his name, Israel, and that they shouldn't take on his name in vain. That doesn't mean don't say Jesus or don't say Father God. All right, that doesn't mean that. So I don't want to offend you. That's why I took the time to explain that. That's based on my theological knowledge. All right, saying Jesus is not taking the Lord's name in vain, which is the actual text. All right, so sorry about that. And if I offended you, I'm sorry. All right, but I just wanted you to look a little deeper into what that really is. But let's get back to the point of what we're dealing with. But ladies and gentlemen, the budget for travel for this term for the Prime Minister them is $86 million. $86 million. They are spending money on these little stuff, but when it comes to paying the staff, they can't pay them. The people at the Registrar General's office that deals with the elections, they called me. Just hold on one sec. I have a legal advisor I need to speak to about this. Hello, how you doing? How you doing? Right here, man. Right here. I was just calling different people with legal knowledge about the situation with the BahamasAir staff, because a lot of them reported sick, and I know that they, that they had an injunction, and the injunction said, "Y'all go back to work," and they got 6 slips from the doctor. And so I know if they're not served with which they were not served, the union wasn't, and if they're not served individually, I think that would be a problem. But can they be forced to go back to work if they actually are sick? The Bahamas Air went to court and they got the injunction against. I don't know. I assume I haven't seen it. I assume it's with the union, or the union, or the staff. Yes, perfect. Yes. Okay. Okay. Awesome. All right. Thank you. Okay. Perfect. Thank you. All right. Bye bye. All right. So I was calling around to a lot of legal experts today to find out exactly their legal stance on this. So I'll update you and the staff and all that on this. Make sure if you know Bahamas Air staff, make sure tag them here to make sure they get on there. Call them and tell them tune in now. And so that's the next judge that I was talking to just now. Um, that just called me. They were returning my call. And so where was I? I think I was talking about the monies. All right. So I think that's where it was. These people see them balling every day. Oh, I was talking about the the parliamentary staff. They reached out to me also, and they said that they were not paid their overtime. They worked the by-election last year, and they were not paid for working the by-election last year, and they worked hours and hours of overtime. They was working all hours of the night trying to get prepared and to get ready. And the same people they used to do their bidding, they did not pay them. How does this happen in government? How does this happen? I can understand a private company saying, okay, we go in bankrupt, we losing money, we don't have it, etc. How does this happen in government? Why is so much staff of government complaining that they're not getting paid while the government is saying the country is doing well? We got 10 million tourists. Why is this happening? Is it that they just hate Bahamians that much? Because that's the kind of feel that we're getting. That they hate Bahamians. And so back to these guys. If you're just tuning in, I see a lot of people just tuning in. The Bahamas Air staff average for their increments that they're owed, probably that's a rough estimate. They're still calculating about $400,000. And you mean to tell me before the government just take that money in, pay them that $400,000, they rather let the whole thing get shut down and then blame the staff? I want to say this to everyone watching this and all the people who are not able to travel today if they wanted to. Don't blame the staff, because if you work on a job and after years and years you don't get your pay, or you don't get your overtime or whatever you're entitled to, at some point you're going to say enough. That might be before Christmas, because you might feel like I need to get my money. Christmas coming, I got to buy gifts for my children. But it doesn't matter when it is. I stand with the staff. I stand with them. And so you would have stood with them too. And so I stand with them. And so if I have to remain stranded, which I don't, because there's other flights. And I normally, when I travel to Freeport, I normally travel on private plane. But I stand with them. I stand with them. And you should too. All right? And so for the small amount of money, even if it's $5 million, which is not, it's nowhere near that. It's hundreds of thousands. Come on, man, government. You're really haggling. They really negotiating back and forth, having this big negotiation. Now, remember, the taxpayers pays a subsidy to BahamasAir every year. And some of that money that's paid to BahamasAir coming from that same staff, because that's their taxpayer money. That's paying a subsidy to BahamasAir because it's run by political trolls and political croonies. Every time they come in power, they put their political operatives in place, and it's being run like a political talk shop. So it's not the staff or the pilots or these other people's fault. It's how they're running it. The persons who are running it on the top. You have board members who the staff is not being sent for training. I'm told that board members, when training opportunities come up, the board members go in. They were going to buy a plane the other day, and the board members went as if they're experts in flying planes. They went on this trip, and so they're getting trips and flights, and the staff are seeing that, and that's where a part of the problem comes in. And so I'm saying all of this so you could understand what they're going through and why they have to do this at this time, and why I stand with them on this. Yes, I'm going to be inconvenienced, but I stand with them on this. All right. And so the way Bahamas runs is it runs like a tuck shop. You have to look and see who's getting the contract to provide parts, to provide different services. You have to look at it, and that's how they use it to suck money out of there. And the reason it's not profitable is the same reason NIB isn't profitable when it should be. The same reason BPL isn't profitable. They use it like a cash cow and suck what they can out of it. All right. If new planes are bought, look and see who got the contract or who get the finder's fee. Then you will see why certain things happen. You understand? And so that's where we are. And so you have to understand that that's why it's not profitable, not because airlines aren't profitable. Otherwise, you wouldn't have any airline in the world. But the PLP and FNM have been running this like a tuck shop. These people have not, and this is not just a PLP thing, these people have been, some of them have told me that they've been waiting for 10 years. That means I spintard them and brave them. Why? Why? That's ridiculous. All right? And so now they've gone to court, and I called a lot of legal experts. I called a lot of legal experts today. One just returned a call to me. And to see, what's the stance? Where are they on this? All right. I have my legal opinion, but I always get advice. And so a court matter happened. There was an injunction. And the injunction said that the staff is to go back to work. Now, there's my problem. How do you tell someone who is sick to go back to work? So as long as any staff member, you're listening, has a genuine sick slip, there's no one on this world who could tell you ain't sick, other than the doctor. And if the circumstances that you are in has caused you to have so much stress that you need a mental break, because we don't need anyone working at an airline who is under stress or duress. Do you understand? We don't need anyone working at an airline, an airplane, responsible for people's lives, who are under stress or duress, or have a virus, but especially under stress and duress. And so no one can tell you ain't sick. So if you sick, you sick. All right. But there was a court order to tell him to go back to work. And here's how that works. Because it's a collective agreement, they can serve it on the union or the union leaders. And that would be considered constructive service to the staff. But the staff could say they didn't know. They didn't know it was served. The union would have a duty to try to reach out, put some notice out there if they are served. But of course, the staff, if they don't know, they don't know. That's one thing. And if they sick, they sick. That's the next thing. And so that's how that works. And then it would probably have to go further as to where you have to look at the genuineness of every one specific case, rather than saying, you're all just playing the hooky, everyone go back to work. And so that's my analysis of what I'm seeing, right? And so for the staff, I say stand your ground. I think all right thinking Bahamians are going to support you. Stand your ground, demand that they give you what is yours. And why are you going to demand that? Because these clowns, you watching them travel every day. You watching them ball and spend money. One trip they make, they sometimes spend more than that. Most of the time. Fred Mitchell traveling all over the world, loving himself and his friends and lovers. And you can't get a few 100,000? No, man. That isn't going to work in this dispensation. All right. So for the staff who's out there, you heard my opinion on what I said just now. Don't take that as legal opinion. That's just my opinion based on what I'm hearing. I haven't seen actually the document, and as far as I know, it was not served on the union, and so we'll see what happens. But for all of you who are stranded, BahamasAir, the company, again, don't blame the staff. They need to get paid, just like you need to get paid. All right. So don't blame the staff. They're saying them. All right. So for anyone watching this, and to the people who are stranded in Miami or Fort Lauderdale, Orlando, wherever you are, and you might be stranded, they have to house you. They have to give you a refund, and that has to be a cash refund. That's a new law. All right, in the U.S. And they have to put you in a hotel, and they have to provide you with food, as far as I know. All right, a meal. So love yourself. All right. I actually was on a British Airways flight to China one time, and the flight delayed until the next day. And they started, well, the flight was really going, I was going to China, but the flight was going to England, and they delayed the flight till the next day. And they was getting hotel rooms at Atlantis for the foreigners. And so me and a couple of people who were traveling with me, I think it was about 4 of us or 5 of us, I said, no. I am your responsibility now too. You gotta put me in a hotel. They said, no, but you live in Nassau. I said, you don't know where I live. All I know is you cancel my flight. You are responsible for me. All right. Any of these Bahamians here could be from the Family Island. They could be from Andros. This is Nassau. But you responsible for me because you cancel that flight. You're gonna feed all of us. You're gonna house all of us. And they did it. It was British Airways. And they did it. And so they put us in the Atlantis, and we stayed in the Atlantis until it actually didn't go the next day. It went the day after that. So we got a couple of days in Atlantis, and then we traveled. And that's good compensation for the inconvenience. But if you are there, they have to compensate you. All right. So if you're not being compensated, make sure to get in touch with them so that this doesn't happen. All right. All right. So make sure you get straight. So for those of you just tuning in, I wanted to make you understand that the staff is owed overtime. They're owed increments. That's supposed to happen every year, and some other things. But they've not been getting that. And we're not talking about like tens of millions of dollars. You know, this is money that may be big money for each individual, but for the government, that's nothing. It's nothing. Hundreds of thousands of dollars they're owed. And so we think that they should have done that. Now, this one day they say estimate $700,000. So what does that mean? 2 days, 1.4 million. 3 days, 3.1 million. Wow. That's going to keep flipping and flipping and flipping. Sorry, 2.1 million. I said it wrong. And it's going to keep flipping and flipping and getting bigger and bigger. And so that's the deal. So we just wanted to do a quick live tonight and make sure that you understood what was going on. And I'm going to open the phone lines very quickly. If there's anyone who's stranded and you didn't get straight or you didn't get your hotel room, you didn't get what you're supposed to get, you can call. I'm going to put the number on the line, and then tell me what you think about what's happening. So if you're on here, just tell me what you think about the fact that they had to strike to get their little couple of dollars for Christmas. You know, I can guarantee you those executives at Bahamas Air, their check is always on time. Every bonus, everything they're supposed to get, they get on time. You know, they get bonuses. They don't make profit, but executives get bonuses. What? Okay. Do you know how much Bahamas Air makes per year? In 2019, Bahamas Air made $92,000. What did I just say? I'm sorry. I'm multitasking while I'm doing this. I'm reading stuff in front of me. They made $92 million. I'm sorry. They made $92 million with an M in 2019. Since the PLP has come in power, they're not saying, they haven't disclosed really how much Bahamas Air made. They just did a statement saying that they're going to make 8 billion more because of the money they spent on some planes. They didn't tell you where the plane's coming from, who getting the finder's fee, or any of that stuff, because payments aren't supposed to be that wise. But a company making on average $100 million a year normally, why are you unprofitable? Why? Think about that. $92 million, and they can't give these people a little $400,000 estimated or so. That's ridiculous. The number is 8035995. I wonder if I have these on silent. What do you think about this strike? Should they just let it go? I'm sorry, it was on silent, so I would not have heard. All right, 8035995. Let me get some sound on this. 8035995. What do you think? You can WhatsApp call or regular call. Let's have this conversation quickly before we got to get out of here. All right. Think about that. $100 million, and they can't make no profit. The government gave them the last subsidy that was reported was $28 million. It was $30 billion before that. So let's say they need to make $130 million to break even. You can't find a way to make some extra money or cut some extra costs, or all you got to do is cut costs. So we need to look at the line items and see what's costing you so much. All right. Hey, someone's on here. Oh, someone says, what is this? 256 million a year. That's Roger Davis. Someone says, "Let it go, Mr. Bain." Never. I don't know what they are talking about. I don't even know if they're speaking English. I don't know what they're saying. Y'all have any idea what they're talking about? Let it go, Mr. Bain. Never. I'm not sure what you mean. I think that's someone who works at Bahamas Air. I'm not sure what they mean. Tell me, fuel. Oh, that's the big cost. That's a smart girl. I love it. All right. So now we get back to who supplies Bahamas Air with the fuel, Miss Gibson. Who supplies Bahamas Air with the fuel? Good question. Because everything around here boils back to fuel. And it seems like they have monopoly on fuel in this country. So they only allow certain people to come in and deal with the fuel. So the same people sell fuel to BPL, the same people sell fuel to this and that. All right? So who sells the fuel to them? Yes, I know you work there, Gelda. Let's go to the phone lines. Good afternoon, you're live. Good afternoon, you're live. Lord, we lost that one. Make sure we have good internet. It always boils down to fuel. And so here again, it's not profitable because the big bulk of the money for Bahamas Air goes to fuel. And who benefits from that? Frankie the Snake is not the only person who benefits. He's the front man. It's the F&M and the PLP. Frankie is the face of the PLP's interest in the company. Orville Turnquest, Tommy Turnquest, and them and others are the face of the F&M interest in the company. And so they make sure they got their people on the board to make sure that they're not getting cut out of anything, and that's their thing. So the same reason that BPL is not profitable, and of the $40 million that they make a year, 30 million goes to, no, a month. Sorry, a month. 40 million a month they make, 30 million goes to fuel. Wow. Most of the money, the cost of BPL is fuel. Their operations is only 10 million. Their fuel is 30 million a month. BahamasAir is not profitable because of fuel. Wow. Everything that makes us suffer in this country is connected to the PLP and F&M. I'm sorry. I got to say it. All right. So, interesting comment on there by the Anna Burrows. All right. Very interesting comment. And that is the truth. And so I want you to understand that they don't want to pay y'all because they can cut out their fuel money where they're making all their money. That's the only reason, because how Western Air could operate and operate good, but they can't. All right? It's not the staff. The staff is not the problem. The staff can only go with what they got. It is the big boys, and they put their people in place on the boards to make sure they get their way. All right? So I just wanted to say that to you today. I don't want to have a long live with this tonight. I wanted to give you a chance to call, but you know when how could they call and all? They couldn't get through. Look, like where I am, the internet is not good, so you might have had to call with regular line. But share this live even after I finish. To the staff, if you're sick, you're sick. All right? If you're sick, you are sick. And no one, according to the Constitution, can force you to work if you're sick. All right? And so, okay, this person trying to call back. Let me get them. Good evening, you're live. Good evening, you're live. Go ahead, caller.
Hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, you're live.
Yes. Yeah, Lincoln, I'm calling from Canada. I just have a quick question for you.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I normally follow you. It's slightly off topic from what you're talking about, but I know you said you wanted to change over to Republic, which is amazing. That's really, really good. I'm excited for that.
Yes, we will do that.
Yeah, I know a lot of countries affiliated with the G5 and the WHO and all that stuff with Klaus Schwab. So I know once we go to Republic, what defense system would we have against them, because they pay allegedly a lot of governments off to do a lot of underhanded work. So just your thoughts on it. I'll hang up so I can continue to listen to you.
Okay, sounds good. He's talking about the WHO and these big boogeymen out there paying off government to do different things. Yes, that does happen. There's an interesting book called Economic Hitman, Confessions of an Economic Hitman. I'd actually distributed that book when it came out to some members of parliament, including Byron Woodside. I saw him the other day, and he reminded me that I was the one who gave him that book. And I went through that book on my radio show before. And so these kinds of stuff does happen. And also separate from that, these organizations give money to persons to do their bidding. All right, it's lobbying kind of. All we need is a government that's not corrupt, not tied to the system, and not willing to sell out. All right, I have not sold out up to this time. Every big cause I've fought, they tried to get me to sell out. They made me offers, and I never sold out. All right, including this one. When I fought for the Sea All the Victims, they tried to bribe me. When I fought for the people when they were breaking down their homes in Pinewood, they tried to bribe me. Every major incident that I fought for, they tried to bribe me. All right, and I never took a bribe. Never. I don't do it. I didn't do it on the police force. I stand for what is right, and that's it. All right. And so, all right. So, see, someone here has another interesting question. Someone asked me, "Are you a mason?" No, I'm a carpenter. But no, I'm not a carpenter either. No, I'm not. You're talking about Freemason? No, I'm not a Freemason. All right. And so, just to make that clear. All right. And so all we need is a government that is not corrupt and that they're not gonna do what doesn't benefit their people. And so Trump seems to be adverse to it. They really fought against him because he was adverse to the WHO and what they were doing, the WHO and the stuff that was happening. And so they fought him. But I will not do anything that doesn't benefit the Bahamian people. All right. Um, okay. See more questions on here. I think y'all want me to read text tonight. Mr. Bain, please ask both governments why is BahamasAir paying $30,000 in rent on Blake Road when they have their own property? To that caller, you know exactly why BahamasAir is paying $30,000 in rent when they have their own property. You have to go and look and see who the landlord is. It's these kinds of things. They use every corporation controlled by government for corruption to be able to funnel money to their people and to themselves. All right. And that's what they do. So that's similar to like under the FNM. Menace called Brent Simonet and said, listen, I won't give you this contract for the post office, 5 million or whatever it was. I don't remember exactly. Contract for the post office. That's what they do. All right. And that's how corrupt these people are. So I don't know if Menace was getting a piece of the pie. You know, Menace and Brent are, of course, they've been his partners. Yes, they are. They've been his partners in Bahingi and in other stuff. And so for him to do that was corruption beyond belief under the FNM. But they tried to make you think that only the PLP is corrupt. All right. Let me sift through these quickly. And so, yeah. So why is BahamasAir losing a lot of money? Fuel. Who gets the fuel? PLP and FNM. All right. Focal. Oh, Kelly was saying, Mr. B, when I said let it go never, I meant when we will never give up on what BahamasAir owes us. Okay, awesome. Yeah, I didn't quite understand how it was written. Thank you so much. All right. All right, perfect. Thank you for that. All right, so I think that's it, unless anyone else has any more questions. But I wanted you to know that these people are owed hundreds of thousands based on the estimation so far for the increments. All right, the overtime is another thing, and then that also isn't that much. That they couldn't have given these people their stuff to make sure they straight for Christmas. All right, and so they were taken to court, and that's how vicious this government is. Instead of just paying these people, why you take them to court? So let me tell you what to do. Instead of giving Frankie Wilson them that check this weekend, take a piece of that check and give it to the staff first. And then tell Frankie Wilson them, we go y'all, because you all been benefiting. How about that? They can handle it. They can take the loss. They've been raping and robbing us in every other way. Good evening, you're live.
Good night, Mr. Bean. I guess I have a question that I want to ask you.
Yes.
Do you think the presidency of Donald Trump will hold migrants accountable in the aspects of staying home opposed to running to the U.S., but they will stay home in their various countries to help build it and develop it, rather than just running from their country just to build it? I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
No, I can answer. That's the easy answer. No, they're not going to stop. And so they may have more stricter laws at the border, but they're not going to stop. They're going to find ways to move themselves. They moved themselves under Trump's last presidency. And even though it multiplied under Biden and them because they were encouraging it, but they're still going to migrate. Nothing can really stop people who want to do something. All right, you can put burglar bars in your house; it just could slow them down, but they still could get in, you know. And so it's the same thing with the borders; they're going to find a way in. So I don't think that it's going to cause them to build their country. If they wanted to build their country, they would be doing so, and that's why we have to protect our country, because we don't want our country to turn into their country because our corrupt leaders allowing them to flood into our country. And we're being flooded right now, and we're overwhelmed, and it's not making the news because the news is sold out. And so I'm looking forward to working with the Trump administration to be able to make sure that both of our borders are safe. And it can be done because we're going to blockade the waters east and west of Inagua, and no one is going to pass there. No one. All right?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ben. Thank you.
Thank you, too. It can be blockaded, and it will be blockaded. You will not be coming. Right now, they're flooding by plane, and so the BahamasAir staff knows that. They have the flights Tuesday and Saturday going into Haiti, and we are flooded with these people coming in all the time. All right, and so it's a problem. Someone says Trump just got 100 billion. Watch my live last night. I talked about that on my live last night. So after you watch this live, go take some time. That was a long live, but go watch my live in Grand Bahama last night. I talked about that. Yes, he got some money from Massa at SoftBank to do technical investments in America and to provide 100,000 jobs. It was actually increased during the press conference to 200 million. Why can't we have the same kind of thing here in the Bahamas? Why can't we find these kinds of people to partner with to be able to have these kinds of major investments in the Bahamas also? It's going to happen. All right. We just got to vote for change. All right. Let me see if y'all saying anything here. Palmetto Point have more illegal than Maine. Yes, it does. All right. They fired that that immigration officer for doing her job. Yes, they did. And we have to make them pay for that. Someone says, do you have a podcast? Or someone on YouTube is asking me that. No, I don't do a podcast. I only do what you see me doing here live. And that's what I do. I don't just do a podcast. We need to shut down those flights from Haiti. That is coming. All right. That is coming very soon. I love this, Leander. You put in some good comments up there. The economy of the country is developed by its people. And if you're not developing your people, then your country will fail. The economy is the people who are the driving force of development. And that's how countries that went from developing nation to developed nation actually did that. Because what they did was they invested in their people. So people here are saying, oh, we want Bahamians to get checks to be able to benefit from their natural resources. And they think it's a giveaway. No. We want Bahamians to invest in this country because when they're able to invest, they have the good ideas. It's not from the politicians. They have the good ideas. They can open the efficient airlines. They can open the businesses that can provide services for the cruise, tourists, and et cetera, and they can transform this country. And that's why we want to empower our people. It's not about a handout. And some people will, come right now, caller, some people will waste what they get, but the others who are not, that money is going to funnel to them and it's going to stay in the economy and grow the economy. Good evening, you're live.
Good night, Mr. Ben. How you doing?
I'm good.
All is well. Keep up the tremendous work you're doing, man. You know, you listen to C. McKinney today?
Yes, I listened to part of it.
You listen to the part when your name is called by Blackmail?
No.
That's what they call it?
No, I didn't hear that part.
He speak highly of you today on that show.
Okay.
I was so surprised.
Yeah.
See, people know who made this country well.
Yeah.
He made a comment and he said that he is with you 100%. He said y'all may not see eye to eye on certain things. He said, but he said tonight he has Mr. Ben back on the immigration stance. What he stands for, he said, "My brother Ben, I will back you on that." That's the first time I ever hear him speak highly of you to see him.
Wow.
You know?
Okay.
The message that you're preaching, people that know the only way out of this country is with you and your COI government, my brother.
Yeah.
So be encouraged, all right? God
Thank
bless
you.
and have a good night. Mr.
Thank
Ben,
you. Yes.
stay safe.
Yeah.
Don't slip up with those, not having your securities around you, please.
Yes.
Stay safe.
Thank you, man.
Don't let something follow with you with that, all right? Have a good night.
All right, man. Thank you. Yes, I support the work that Blackmail and others are doing also. And like I always told people, for the civil rights movement, there was Thurgood Marshall in the courts, fighting in the courts. There was Martin Luther King out there fighting in the streets and using the politicians. And then there was the persons who could speak roughly, like the Stokely Carmichael and the Malcolm X, etc. They would talk rough, but they won't take any action. But they would talk rough. And then you had Martin Luther King, who would talk not rough, but he would go there and take action. He would block up a bridge. He would, if you say you can't eat in that restaurant, he would go in the restaurant and he would eat it. So he was the violent one, even though he called it non-violence, because they actually saw it more violent when a black man talked than when he actually did something. And I was curious about the strategy of Martin Luther King. He realized that, and he said, "Oh, just me talking the truth seems to be more offensive to them than actually blocking the bridge. So let me just block the bridge." Now, it was interesting. All right. And so what Blackmail and them are doing is important, but it's also a buttress for what we are doing. Blackmail and them went into the courts and they filed a lawsuit to sue the government for this illegal stuff that they've been doing with immigration for all these years, and that is commendable. And of course, we did contribute financially to assist them with that where we could. And of course, but we actually would go out there on the streets like Martin Luther King and actually fight. And so what we did was we went out there and went in the shanty towns and exposed what was going on while the government was pretending that it wasn't happening. We went out there and we showed the shanty towns, walked in the shanty towns when everyone told us that they were afraid. Some people said even the police afraid to go in these shanty towns. Like in our country, we went and sometimes the police, they would get courage and come after us, like in Harbor Island. We went there, even a man had a gun on his waist on the corner. They turned Harbor Island into a ghetto, into a Haitian ghetto. We came there and exposed what was going on, and they came after us, taking some action. We did that all over the country. We also, I'll be right with you, caller. We also, in writing to the government, demanded that they stop flights to Haiti, and they did temporarily, that they stopped issuing work permits, and they did temporarily. We actually fought them, and we got results from fighting them. We put pressure on them and forced them to get rid of Keith Bell. We were the ones who exposed what he did at the funeral, and we exposed, because the Haitians were disgusted by what was happening. The Haitians who tried to do things the right way, and they gave me the information to be able to expose him. And so we have been fighting in a different way to make sure that they did what they had to do. And so because of our efforts, they started fake breaking down shanty towns. All right. And so we are doing our efforts on the street, dealing with the government, like Martin Luther King, because he's kind of a role model of mine, and I use his strategy a lot. And then there's blackmailing them, dealing with them in the courts. You need all of it. Good evening, you're live.
Yes, good evening, Mr. President. Good evening, Bahamas.
How you doing?
Mr. President.
Yes.
Yeah, we recognize that every member of Parliament receives $150,000 for their constituency.
Yeah, more than that.
Pardon me?
They get $150,000 to do things in their constituency.
Hello?
Yes, can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm here. I'm here.
My connection is bad.
Yeah.
Okay, so carry on with the live.
Yes, they get. Yeah, they get $150,000 to do things in their constituency, whatever it is they want to do. It goes directly to their personal bank accounts, and they get another sum of money. I think it's like $42,000, somewhere around there. So they get $192 around there, $1,000 for their constituencies. One is to do some stuff with the office. That's the $47,000, and then the other one is to do whatever they want to do. Back to school giveaways, whatever. And so that's a lot of money. That's about $1 million during their term. So they get about $1 million during their term to do stuff in the constituency. And so they don't do enough. All right. And so, all right. So this is about BahamasAir tonight. I want you to know that the reason BahamasAir is not profitable is because of the skullduggery, I believe, as it relates to contracts and that kind of stuff and how it's done, how the political system is corrupt and how it's done. Remember, they had an arrest with BEC where FNM, a former FNM MP or candidate, was arrested. Remember Fred Ramsey? And that's because he got them to buy the engine that he wanted. And the reason you buy that engine is because someone pay you under the table to buy that engine. And then, and so the FNM can't say that just the PLP is corrupt. They're both corrupt. And then now you'll be able to supply the parts for that engine. And the more parts you have breaking down, the more money they make. So the more BC is breaking down, the more money they make. So they make money from your suffering. When will you wake up? When a blackout happens, that's money for them. That's money. To maintain a generator, that's money. So why would they go solar? All right? And so you have to wake up, Bahamas. And the same thing with BahamasAir. I had a live previously where I showed the planes that they were buying, and I showed why did they get this plane and not that plane. And when you look at the connection, who's connected to who and what's going on, you kind of tend to see what's happening. All right. And so we got to wake up, man. All right. And so you're suffering with BahamasAir because that's just another entity for them to suck money from. And that's just the way it is. All right. So I just wanted to do that tonight. If you are stranded somewhere, I would have for Lauderdale right now, but I'm not. But if you landed somewhere, they are entitled to take care of you. All right. And that's probably $700,000 they said that they're going to lose by having to take care of you. So don't let them hold on that $700,000 and you don't get yours. All right. Make sure you get yours. Now, to the staff who are watching this, thank you for watching this. Just know that we appreciate you and the work you're doing. You have been doing a great job this year. My experience at BahamasAir was phenomenal all year. And I speak the truth. I'm brutally honest. If it wasn't, I would say so. But my experience all this year has been a phenomenal experience. I'm not saying you're never going to slip up, etc., but I haven't experienced that. I've experienced amazing customer service, and I've experienced flights that left on time or early experience that I've had this year. I don't have any reason to lie for them. But that's been my experience. So some people might have experienced something different, but that's me. And so I just want to thank them for that. And so, ladies and gentlemen, to the staff who is there, if you don't get that money is going to go to steak and lobster for the politicians, their family, friends, and lovers. All right? So stand your ground. If you need advice, call me. I know you've been calling me, but stand your ground. That's a couple dollars to them. If BahamasAir don't have it, tell Jess to pay it. Now, I don't mean it literally because that's his personal money and that's a corporate thing. But if he care, tell him pay it. If Brave care, tell Brave pay it. It's Christmas, man. It's Christmas. Lastly, again, I pray for a day when Bahamians won't have to crowd on long lines to be able to get a ham and turkey. That won't be for us. And that day is coming. That day is coming. That day is coming. Staff member of BahamasAir is on this. I apologize to all my Bahamian people. I just want you, the staff, to know that we are with you. We understand. Because if any of us was working and not getting paid, we would do the same thing. Now, some people might get a little impatient because it's affecting them. But as I can tell you, you see what I'm doing? I relaxing. All right? But I'm in support of y'all. Because there's no reason for a few $100,000, they should be even in any negotiation back and forth. What y'all negotiating? Where do you pay $400 or where do you pay $350? Like, what y'all negotiating? What this back and forth is about? For $400,000. That's the estimate that I was given, right, by those who have interest. What you negotiating about? Man, give them people what is theirs, yeah? I ain't bragging about we gave them Christmas bonus. That's their money. You don't give them anything. That's their money. They worked. I think we need to see I cleared from Michael. Coming soon. We've already vetted someone for there. We're looking to see if other persons come forward. And so it's coming soon. All right, soon. We're going to be releasing the more candidates in short order. And we're going to be releasing our Vision 2030. Stay tuned for that. You're going to love it. But that's it. All right. So, oh man, I didn't intend to go hours tonight. I want to do half hour, but I had to answer the questions. All right. And so, God bless you. I'm sorry if I didn't see your question. Say a brave flying jet to the U.S. He flew in a jet to Africa the other day, eh? I'm sure he spent $400,000 on that. In any event, if you love it, let it kill you. And so if you love our party, if you love PLP, you love FNM, let it kill you. Because every PCS suffering is due to them making money. They are making money from your suffering. In every area of this country that is failing, it's because they're making money. You will not get a hospital because they make money from the private practice. You will not get an airport right now and pre-clearance in Grand Bahama because they're making money, allowing drugs to move through Grand Bahama and Bimini. Because it don't take 5 years to fix the airport. And they haven't told you all yet that airport deal has already fallen apart. Why? You think they can stop their flow? Come on. Every area that we suffer. Will Bahamas get their own cruise ships? You trying to make me talk about everything tonight. I don't want this to be long. Yes, Bahamians will own their cruise ship. We're going to form a company just for that. Every Bahamian will have a share in that company. You can buy more shares if you want to. And we are going to buy cruise ships. You hear, when you listen to the House of Assembly, they borrowing $500 million for this, $500 million for $1 billion they borrowing. But you'll never see where that money go. Why can't you borrow for something we can make money from? Like what Singapore does. Borrow for something that can bring you income. They borrow for what? Like Minutes borrowed what, $6 billion? What did he use that on? We are going to use our natural resources, but when we start, we are going to do like Dubai did, and we're going to use the value of our natural resources and our sovereign credit to be able to borrow to go into businesses and opportunities that we can make money from. All right, we're going to launch our cruise business almost immediately. All right. And so the things we got to put in place, train some people, and we are going to make much of the tourism of other countries. So now our ship is going to go to Jamaica, to Mexico, to the Cayman Islands, to Bermuda, to Florida. And our ships are going to go all throughout the Bahamas and move the economy around the Bahamas. Oh, there's so much to talk about. Stay tuned for the vision. God bless you. I want to keep this one. Someone says, I love when you're on educating us. God bless you. We're going to keep doing that as much as we can. So just stay tuned and make sure your family and friends know what's going on. The media is trying to portray us as some rowdy people. I'm not rowing, but there's a time for everything. There's a time to stand up. Most people only see us when we're out there protesting. And so when you're protesting, you have a job to do. You have some people who want to hear you. So you got to speak loud. And so they're giving this impression that we're just a bunch of rowdy people always shouting. But no, we're always, every week, because we do this more than we protest. Every week we're on here educating the Bahamian people just like we're doing now, putting ourselves forward to you and answering your question. All right. Thank you so much. Marilyn, love you too. So good night to all of you. I'm going to now try to continue my my Christmas break, unless they mess with the BahamasAir staff. All right. So this only a few $100,000 they need to just give the staff that and stop playing around. I will not accept any excuse to oppress our Bahamian people over a few $100,000 that they worked for. Now, I end my Christmas break for that. BahamasAir staff, stand your ground. Sensible Bahamians are with you.